You're watching ABC7 News at 5.
Good evening, I'm Jacqueline Matter.
I'm Scott Dennis. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Our top story, our pollen season is in full bloom right now, and experts say anyone with allergies should start protecting themselves now from the risk of something more severe than a runny nose.
ABC7's Adam Cellini joins us live in the ABC7 parking lot with more on Florida's tree pollen season. Adam?
Yeah, well, Scott and Jacqueline, here's something many of us can relate to right now. This film of pollen on the hoods of cars. This is my own car in desperate need of a wash, clearly. But luckily, I don't have to deal with the allergies as much as some people do. And those allergies could leave people susceptible to more severe illnesses that are going around right now.
What do you guys do?
Car wash may be an exercise in futility this time of year as pollen blankets the Suncoast.
It's everywhere. It's on the screens of the lanai, it's on the furniture, it's on the car.
Evie's Car Wash on Bee Ridge Road is packed this time of year as residents battle Monday's high pollen levels in our area, which will only drop slightly this week, according to pollen.com.
Certainly worse than last year. Everything is yellow.
It's pretty standard. Just as bad as always.
Allergist Ava Burkus says February through April are also her busiest months. That's tree pollen season in Florida, where we have more tree species than any other state in the country.
Typically the pollen we see the easiest is actually the sticky yellowish green pine pollen, and then the brown curly husks of the pollen you see on the ground typically come from the oak.
Not so visible is the allergenic pollen from these trees, which Dr. Burkus says can float from hundreds of miles away, affecting breathing, sleep quality, or for Joan Zucchini, nasal congestion.
I know without even looking that the oak trees are blooming.
Burkus warns that's also a sign your immune system is busy, which can make it easier to contract viruses like influenza, which has been particularly deadly this year. She recommends starting over-the-counter medications early if you know your allergies are severe.
The nasal steroid sprays are especially useful for people who have a lot of nasal congestion.
Now, another recommendation from Dr. Burkus is something you can mix by sterilizing our own Gulf waters, a saltwater nasal rinse. Now, tree pollen season normally wraps up around May, according to Dr. Burkus, but that's also the beginning, generally, of grass pollen season, which can also affect people's allergies. Live in Sarasota, I'm Adam Cellini. Scott and Jacqueline, back to you.
All right, Adam, wash that car, will you? Thanks so much. As dry conditions persist across the Suncoast, a weekend fire took out parts of Venice Park. Fire officials believe the fire that burned 25% of the Service Club Park was started by a nearby campfire that got out of control. Making matters worse, the park and accompanying boardwalk just finished a $350,000 upgrade on Friday, and now much of that work will need to be redone, leaving many worried who's going to foot the bill.
We are currently assessing that situation and talking with our risk management department to see if this falls under our insurance claim policy or if this is something that will have to come out of the same one-cent sales tax fund.
The park will remain closed until it can be determined who will pay for those repairs.
And in a separate incident, a fire burning part of a home in Nokomis. The Venice and Sarasota County Fire Departments responded to Dartmoor Circle for a fire at a two-story home. First responders blocked off part of that road as they worked to put out the blaze. No injuries have been reported. And in a third incident, an unattended fire pit in Northport caused 3.5 acres of damage. Northport emergency responders were on scene for an active brush fire, evacuating a home after the flames jumped over a residential road, heading toward even more homes. Right now, all of those fires are now under control. In order to stay safe, officials say to remember to be vigilant over what you burn and pay attention to fire restrictions in your area.
Yeah, it sure has been dry, but it's been gorgeous outside. Despite the pollen, I spent as much time as I could outside this weekend.
It was just absolutely wonderful out there. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan with more on our weather.
Yeah, as expected, the cold front moved through last week and brought some cooler temperatures our way and some drier air too. Quite a contrast when you think about what we had in February, the warmest February on record here on the west coast of Florida. And now we're starting off a little bit below average for the month of March. So 70 right now. Dew point is extremely low at 43. Now these numbers were in the upper 60s when we were going through our hot spell there in February. The humidity low, 38%. The barometer 30.03 inches, and temperature statewide for the most part in the 70s, 74 now in Orlando and 64, a little bit cooler in Jacksonville, 71 now in Tallahassee. there are some changes on the way. We're in this very progressive pattern, meaning we're going to see a series of fronts move through, which will bring us a much better chance for some rainfall. So you mentioned those fires taking place. Well, we're going to get some beneficial rains out of these next fronts that move through. This one now moving through the lower Mississippi Valley, producing some showers and thunderstorms. I'll let you know about our rain chances coming up later this week and coming up in just a few minutes. Back to you.
Okay, Bob, thank you. New details on a Sunday night stabbing in Northport. Police were called to a San Jacinto Avenue home around 10 o'clock for a domestic dispute. Police say a woman was stabbed and was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police say the victim has a restraining order against the suspect, 63-year-old Cornelius Hicks. Hicks is now charged with attempted murder and aggravated battery with a deadly weapon.
The Florida Highway Patrol is investigating a deadly crash in Manatee County. A bicyclist was hit and killed on US 41 at 49th Avenue Drive West last night. Troopers say a car was heading north on 41 when a man rode his bicycle directly into the path of the oncoming car. The 47-year-old man was taken to Blake Medical Center where he later died. Troopers are still trying to notify relatives and have not released the victim's name.
Florida Highway Patrol will release details of their Stay at the Scene program tomorrow during a press conference. In 2017, there were more than 98,000 hit-and-run crashes across Florida. This campaign tries to educate drivers so they know their responsibilities if they decided to leave a scene of a crash. Troopers say you can always dial star FHP or star 347 to report a hit-and-run or an aggressive driver.
ABC7 business commentator Richard Stern joining us now, and some big gains across Wall Street today.
Some terrific gains, but didn't come without a fight. We were down 151 points at 10:30 this morning. We turned it around, up 423 points at the high, 574 points intraday. No big deal. We call it volatility, and boy, did we see it today. Indeed, we were down by a whole bunch early this morning. Then stories started coming out about maybe the trade wars won't be quite as bad as expected. Just maybe some of these tariffs might go away if a NAFTA agreement can be reached. That all said, we certainly did rally from there. Let's take a look at the numbers, and indeed impressive they are. Look at that, the Dow 24,874.76, a gain of almost 337 points, 1.4% on volume of 808 million shares. The NASDAQ for the day up exactly 1%, closing at 7,330.70, up 73 points, that on volume of 1,978 million shares. And the S&P, if those two are up, so's the S&P, up by 1.1%, not quite 30 points at 2,720.94. Well, we talk about volatility all the time, and I think it's important that you understand exactly what that really means. Do you really have to follow the movement of stocks on a day-to-day basis? The answer is it can fool you. Let's take a look at Amazon.com last week. Now, Amazon is not a cheap stock. It closed at $1,500 a share Friday, February 23rd. On Monday, it went up by almost $22. On Tuesday, it fell by $10. Then after that, we saw on Wednesday, basically no change. On Thursday, it fell by $19. Friday, up almost $7. So what's the magic number here? Look at this. The net change for the entire week was 25 cents. Yes, I said 25 cents on $1,500. That's a change in percentage basis of decimal 0.0001. So the message to all our viewers is, sure, we talk about it every day, and certainly Amazon is an example of a company that does move back and forth fairly rapidly. But at the end of the day, if you own good stocks, continue to own them. Don't get scared out by these day-to-day fluctuations, because they certainly do happen.
And up arrows today. So did Amazon go up today?
Surprise, surprise. Up $23.36, a little over $1,523 this year.
Okay. Richard, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Still to come in your Suncoast News, the latest on President Trump's proposed tariffs, why those tariffs are causing disagreement among the GOP.
And Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan will be back with your first alert forecast, plus how aspirin could have negative effects on those living with type 2 diabetes and heart failure. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
The ABC7 Stock Report is sponsored by Sunset Cadillac.
For more than 100 years, American Humane Association has been teaching kids to be kind to animals. Those in our homes, on the farms, on the silver screen, and wildlife conservation, caring for the world's vanishing creatures. But we can't do it alone. Visit kindness100.org to find ways to teach kids how they can make a more caring, compassionate, and humane world for all of us.
It's California Closet's Lighting and Accessories Sales Event. Save up to $1,000 now through April 30th. Call 1-800-CAL-CLOSETS for your free design consultation or visit us online at californiaclosets.com.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. We promise we're more than a dealership. We're a destination with a movie theater, massage room, aquarium, cafe, and more. We promise to give you top dollar for your trade, even if you don't buy from us. And if you do, we promise you the best deal. Bring us any competitor's ad and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
I was always worried and scared. Mom was in pain. She wasn't going to get any better, and all the trips to the ER were painful for all of us. Then we called Tidewell Hospice, and everything changed. Now she has care in our home when she needs it, surrounded by family. We know we don't have much time left with Mom, but we decided to make the best out of that time. Tidewell Hospice, it's more than you think.
My name is Stephen Campagna. We're Ben Gates and Dramus, and here is your law tip of the week. If you've been injured in an accident, whether or not it's your fault, your insurance company might be responsible for some of your expenses. So give us a call. We've got your back.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
My goal every day when I come into work at ABC7 is to tell your stories, give you that major local news and those details that you really care about. I'm Jacqueline Matter, and I'm here for you.
It's California Closet's Lighting and Accessories Sales Event. Save up to $1,000 now through April 30th. Call 1-800-CAL-CLOSETS for your free design consultation or visit us online at californiaclosets.com.
Today, President Trump is tweeting about his proposed tariffs on steel, specifically mentioning large trade deficits with Mexico and Canada.
ABC's Karen Travers has the latest now from the White House.
President Trump says his new tariffs on aluminum and steel imports will not spark a trade war, but it may cause a war between the White House and congressional Republicans. Both sides are digging in for a fight. President Trump isn't budging.
No, we're not backing down.
The president dismissing calls from Republican congressional leaders to not move forward on the new tariffs he announced on steel and aluminum imports. A spokeswoman for Paul Ryan says the House Speaker is extremely worried about the potential for retaliation and is urging the White House to not move forward. Ryan's office even sending reporters an email this morning highlighting early losses in the stock market and tying it to the tariffs. The president writing on Twitter Friday, trade wars are good and easy to win, but today he said he doesn't think there'll be one. European officials are strongly hinting at retaliatory tariffs, and their targets are notable. Taxes on imports of American bourbon, made in Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's home state of Kentucky, and on Harley-Davidson motorcycles, made in Speaker Ryan's home state of Wisconsin. President Trump suggested on Twitter this morning that Canada and Mexico may be exempted from these new tariffs if the three countries can reach a new deal on NAFTA. The largest share of U.S. steel imports comes from Canada, but hours later, one of the president's top trade advisors said there would be no exemptions. Republican congressional leaders are not ruling out potential action to block President Trump from instituting these new tariffs, but this would be a major showdown. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
The president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, lost his temporary top-level security clearance last week and is now facing more negative headlines. The New York Times reporting possible attempts by officials in the United Arab Emirates to buy political influence by directing money to support Mr. Trump during the presidential campaign. According to the Times, an associate affiliated with the UAE visited the White House repeatedly, meeting with Kushner and former advisor Steve Bannon. There are also new reports surfacing about the Kushner family's real estate company seeking funding from the nation of Qatar, which did not materialize. That's controversial because the Trump administration took an unexpected firm stance against Qatar in a dispute with Saudi Arabia.
Well, if it's true, it's damning. If it's true, Jared Kushner has to go.
Among his many responsibilities, Kushner is the president's point man on Middle East peace. However, he was not seen during the public part of the president's meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu today.
Turning now to a new storm targeting the Midwest and Northeast. The massive storm system stretching from the Canadian border to the Gulf of Mexico has already blanketed the West in up to 2 feet of snow in some places. And now it's taking aim for the Midwest and Northeast, threatening high winds, coastal flooding, and up to a foot of snow in the exact same areas that are still recovering from Friday's deadly nor'easter. Hundreds of thousands are still without power from that storm.
The restoration during this storm has been extremely painstakingly difficult because of downed trees, blocking roads, impassable roads. It has slowed down a lot of the activity.
In hard-hit coastal Massachusetts, flooding and powerful surf ripped homes off of their foundations. They're now bracing for another round. The National Weather Service has already issued a winter storm watch for the majority of the Northeast from late Tuesday into Wednesday.
The power of that storm. I mean, it looked almost like a hurricane.
Yeah, it has a cold core system, meaning it wasn't warm as you go through the center. It was similar pressure readings as a hurricane. Yeah. And we felt the winds up in Savannah, Georgia. I was up there with my daughter's gymnastics meet, and we had 20, 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts. I know you guys had a comfortable weekend here. It was a little bit colder up there. Yeah, temperatures down in the 40s. And we're going to get some 40s here, too, it looks like. Associated with those two storms you mentioned, I've got more information on that snowstorm. Get a look at this. This is the snowstorm developing. These are storm totals as far as snow goes. And you can see winter is not over. It's come back with a vengeance across the northern plains and the northeast. So if you're down here with a little bit of a vacation and you're down here for a couple more months, I think winter is going to stick around too up there, so you should be happy. Look at that purple mark right there over Vermont, all the way down into Massachusetts there, western portion there, up to a foot of snow, and then also up to 3 to 6 inches in upper Michigan there. Ohio, not as much, but a lot in Minneapolis there. Could get up to 6 to 10 inches of snow. Different story here, Van Wezel webcam. Beautiful conditions out there on the waters. Things looking quite nice there. Although the winds and seas will be a little higher tomorrow, and we'll see the moderate chop on the bays and inland waters as a result of this storm system now, which is just the tail end of that massive storm moving through the northern plains. You can see some light rainfall now from Houston, stretching all the way over to Louisiana. A little heavier storms there in northern Louisiana tonight. Nothing going on in the northeast now, but this is going to be the area to watch over the upcoming 3 days as that winter storm gets raging there. Right now it's bringing heavy snow to northeast Iowa, also into Minnesota. You can see that heavy snow falling there. As far as warnings go, this area in red that you see right there, that's a blizzard warning. This is a red flag warning, meaning high fire danger through Oklahoma and Kansas, a high wind warning there in the yellow, and a winter storm warning in effect where you see the pink there covering most of North Dakota. Well, we heard it earlier from Adam, the report of the pollen count high. You know, the problem is that we had such a cool January and then a very warm February that all the different oak trees, 6 of them in total, kind of pollinated all at the same time. And that's the reason why, again, one of the reasons why the pollen is a little higher than you've seen here along the Suncoast. Trees remaining very high. Obviously, the main allergens, juniper, oak, and those are the two big problems there. Here comes the front. The first one, Tuesday. Not much going on here. Looks good for Tuesday. A little warmer tomorrow, too. Winds will start to switch to the south in advance of this front. But you'll notice the rain chance increasing for us, too. A little later, you'll see that. A few scattered showers Wednesday morning. And then a much better chance of rain comes Wednesday morning, and that's when we're going to get the bulk of the rainfall. We could see a few isolated thunderstorms. Right now, it appears that the dynamics is not there, for the possibility of severe weather. We'll have to watch it closely. Right now, 70 degrees currently. Dew point is at 43, very low. Pressure 30.03 inches. Tomorrow's high temperatures will be warmer into the mid-70s, even could see some upper 70s, especially away from the water there. Plenty of sunshine, should be another gorgeous day. Different story on Wednesday. That will be a first alert weather day, and there goes that hurricane basically off into the Atlantic. For boaters tomorrow, southeast winds turn to the south at 5 to 10 knots, picking up to 15 knots in the afternoon. Well, the first alert weather day, meaning a very disruptive day for us, especially in the morning, could linger into the afternoon. High temperatures will cool down once again. And look at this, 49 for a low on Friday morning. So that's well below average. 49 degrees to start things off on Friday. Plenty of sunshine, though, on Thursday and Friday. Highs only into the upper 60s then. And then another cold front comes in late Saturday night and Sunday. That will be another first alert weather day. I think this one has a better chance of producing thunderstorms and the potential for severe weather. We'll have to monitor that closely on Sunday as the front moves through. Will cool down and turn breezy for Monday. So a very progressive pattern, as you see. And one thing to note, we do spring forward an hour on Saturday night. Back to you.
All right, Bob, thank you. Let's check first alert traffic. The northbound lanes of US 301 moving slowly at this hour in Manatee County. This is right near the intersection with State Road 70 and then north from there. Slow going there. And also I-75 heading north slow as well in Manatee County. Jacqueline?
Thanks, Scott. In health news tonight, for millions of Americans living with type 2 diabetes and heart failure, an aspirin a day may have some added health benefits, or maybe not, according to new research. With more, here's ABC's Tara Palmieri.
An aspirin a day for diabetics? Well, perhaps. According to a new study presented at the American College of Cardiology's annual meeting, diabetics with heart failure taking an aspirin every day have a lower risk of dying or being hospitalized for heart failure. 12,000 patients were included in this study. They were all age 55 or older and suffer from both type 2 diabetes and heart failure. Half were taking a daily aspirin, half weren't. 5 years later, those taking that daily aspirin had a 10% decrease in risk of death and hospitalization for heart failure. But shockingly, they were 50% more likely to have a non-fatal heart attack or stroke. Aspirin acts as a blood thinner, reducing the risk for clots. Both heart failure and diabetes cause changes in the blood that make clot formation more likely, which can lead to heart attack or stroke. About 27 million Americans have type 2 diabetes and about 6.5 million have heart failure. In light of these results, the study's authors are now urging patients to talk with their doctors to fully assess the benefits and risks before taking a daily aspirin. With this Medical Minute, I'm Tara Palmieri, ABC News.
A new national mental health and suicide prevention hotline could be in the works. Lawmakers are considering a bill to create a 3-digit suicide prevention line. It would replace the current hotline, 1-800-273-TALK, which some people say is hard to remember, especially for those experiencing an emergency. Studies show when people use the hotline, the risk of suicide sharply drops. Sponsors of the bill say a new 3-digit hotline has strong bipartisan support. And when we think we're multitasking, most often we aren't really doing two things at once, but instead individual actions in rapid succession. But here's why it doesn't work. Multitasking impairs your best thinking. Trying more than one thing at a time compromises our ability to complete the tasks safely and well. And our tendency to divide our attention rather than focus is also hampering our ability to perform even simple tasks. This can also have a negative impact on attentiveness, learning, and mindfulness. So whether driving on a long trip, organizing an event, or filling an order, we perform best by doing one thing at a time. Coming up, a roof collapses at an airport in China, and firefighters in Brooklyn barely make it out of a blazing fire alive. We'll have more on those stories when we come back.
This is an important announcement. If you're between 50 and 85 and worried about your loved ones, you can still get affordable life insurance for peace of mind.
My life insurance coverage is guaranteed, and I was not required to get a medical exam.
I had high blood pressure and diabetes, and I got my coverage with one telephone call. No exam necessary.
I'm a smoker, and I wanted to take care of my family. I called to get my life insurance and my affairs in order. I wanted to do the right thing.
Call Final Expense No Exam Insurance. Your rates are guaranteed and will never increase.
I called and learned that this insurance cannot be canceled even if you get sick or gain weight.
And there are no restrictions on how my beneficiaries use the money when I'm gone.
Approval was easy and the price was right. I wanted to do this for my children.
Call 800-738-9812. 800-738-9812.
Hi, I'm Chef Bob. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday morning on ABC7, where we'll be serving up the most awesome dishes. Then stop by your neighborhood Publix, pick up the recipe card and all the ingredients.
Loaded with big laughs, colorful characters, and the songs that made the 20s roar, Bullets Over Broadway is bringing musical theater back with a bang. Your attendance is requested at the Players Center for this wild Broadway musical opening February 21st. Call the Players at 365-2494 or visit the website at theplayers.org. This is one Broadway show that is sure to knock 'em dead.
We're losing exotic animals on a daily basis, and the ones that we have in captivity are really the ambassadors for their wild counterparts. I'm Clayton Rozier from the Big Cat Habitat and Gulf Coast Sanctuary, housing over 150 exotic animals that needed a great home. And if you love animals, please help them. Do it locally. Support your local no-kill shelters, your local wild animal sanctuaries. Make a difference where you can.
That is a pretty good breakfast. You're not even eating.
Not hungry.
No? Why not? What's up?
Kath and I knew that Jenny'd been partying a bit. Found out she tried heroin.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
ABC7, the Suncoast's official Florida lottery station.
4 firefighters were injured in a 3-alarm fire in Brooklyn early this morning.
And someone caught a scary moment at the scene on camera. A dramatic video shows part of the roof of the building falling right onto the firefighters as they battled this raging fire. The flames broke out around 12:30 this morning inside the 3-story brownstone. 2 of the firefighters had to be taken to the hospital for treatment. The others were treated there at the scene. Cause of the fire still under investigation.
In terrifying moments at an airport in China over the weekend, heavy winds and a torrential downpour caused part of the airport's roof to collapse. Video captured the moment when large pieces of metal came crashing down, hitting vehicles parked outside of the entrance of the airport's Terminal 2. Luckily, no one was injured, but the terminal's main structure was reportedly unaffected, and flights continued on as scheduled. The wind speed on Sunday exceeded 67 miles per hour.
A recently revealed portrait of Michelle Obama has had its share of fans and critics, but one little girl was simply starstruck by it, and images of her taking it all in have now gone viral.
Jeremy Roth has more in today's Take a Look at This.
Photos of a toddler mesmerized by a portrait of the former First Lady are going viral. The pictures were taken at the National Portrait Gallery by a visitor from North Carolina. They show 2-year-old Parker Curry gazing at the portrait of Michelle Obama. The likeness was painted by artist Amy Sherald and was revealed in February. Parker's mother says she was so amazed she wouldn't even turn around for a picture. She says her little girl believes Michelle Obama is a queen. Some teachers in Oregon are going on the defensive. More than a dozen teachers in Hillsborough took part in active shooter defense training classes. They learned firsthand defense tactics for classroom-specific scenarios, such as how to use items like chairs and fire extinguishers as weapons, as well as learning to identify specific firearms. Some say they hoped the class would make them feel empowered. Most of them said they just want to be ready for anything. For the first time, clothing maker Lacoste ditched their iconic crocodile. It was a temporary move to highlight different endangered animals. The French clothing brand launched the campaign during Paris Fashion Week. The logo was replaced by 10 different species from the endangered species list, including the Sumatran tiger. Proceeds from the sold-out fashions went to the International Union for Conservation of Nature. Take a look at this. I'm Jeremy Roth.
Well, still to come on your Suncoast News, after a rare Saturday session in the Florida Senate, lawmakers meet today to vote on a controversial school safety bill.
And how a Venice affordable housing project may finally be getting the green light. Stay with us.
It's California Closet's Lighting and Accessories Sales Event. Save up to $1,000 now through April 30th. Call 1-800-CAL-CLOSETS for your free design consultation, or visit us online at californiaclosets.com.
Alex Karras Lincoln's 40th anniversary sale. Please join us in welcoming the 2 newest additions to the Lincoln lineup, our flagship luxury sedan, the 2018 Lincoln Continental, and the totally redesigned 2018 Lincoln Navigator, featuring 450 horsepower, 10-speed transmission, and many best-in-class features. Alex Karras Lincoln, where our mission statement is consistent commitment, every client, every time. Located 2 miles north of the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport on US 41.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Florida Studio Theater presents Native Gardens. Stately gardens and cultures clash, turning friendly neighbors into feuding adversaries. When a disagreement over a long-standing fence spirals into an all-out comedic battle of taste, privilege, and entitlement, no one comes out smelling like a rose. Critics are calling Native Gardens timeless as well as timely, smart and first-rate. Audience are calling it one of the best. Native Gardens is now playing. Tickets can be purchased by calling 941-366-9000 or by visiting floridastudiotheater.org.
Here's something we bet you didn't know. Nearly half of all cancers can be prevented. That's right, half. Nearly 50%, mostly by making small everyday changes in your diet and controlling your weight, walking more, eating less, and eating foods that help you and your family to seriously reduce the risk of cancer. And of course, by not smoking. Visit the Cancer Prevention Together We Can website and get a free 30-day planner filled with tips, recipes, stats, and more about protecting your family. Go to prevent50.org.
It's California Closet's Lighting and Accessories Sales Event. Save up to $1,000 now through April 30th. Call 1-800-CAL-CLOSETS for your free design consultation or visit us online at californiaclosets.com.